Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another broadcast. Today I'd like to talk about Secret Empire number 0, or more specifically, Marvel writer Nick Spencer's paragon of postmodern superhero fare. For $4.99, you too can read an incredibly well-crafted tale that reveals the deconstruction of Steve Rogers into Nazi Cap, or Hydra Cap, or whatever you want to call him. Although the bottom line is that we're now being told that the US lost World War II, but used the cosmic cube to mind warp evil Cap, and that Kobik was really making right the Marvel Universe's true history. All this is subject to change due to the whole cosmic cube games at hand, but at the end of the day, we're sullying a cultural icon because why not, kids? There are no heroes. Everyone you love and respect may be just one giant fraud when you think about it, and stuff. Okay guys, I'm not going to spend too much time on the recap here because I want to get into the commentary. Here are the important bullet points. 1. Cap has seemingly been Hydra's greatest spy since the beginning. The Allied powers during World War II used the cosmic cube to change history and make Steve Rogers a hero. Evil Steve submerges himself in a pool that will protect him in the mountains of Japan and is warned that he'll essentially wake up a new man. Kobik rewrote the Allies' false history, and we're now on the verge of seeing Evil Steve fulfill his destiny. 2. Steve, on a helicarrier, oversees a cosmic calamity and an attack on New York City at the same time. A bunch of villains escape the reality-altering prism, Pleasant Hill, and want the world to know about it. He is eventually given total control of the nation's defense in conjunction with the S.H.I.E.L.D. Act, since the world seemingly faces an existential threat. 3. Earth's heavy hitters are in space defending it from wave after wave of bodies from a Chitauri invasion. A shield that can protect the Earth from the onslaught mysteriously goes down. The defenders try and save New York City from the escaped supervillains. 4. The S.H.I.E.L.D. eventually goes up, but then Cap makes sure that it doesn't come down in order to allow the heroes back into the atmosphere. New York City is then enveloped in a dark force dimension by blackout. 5. Riri Williams and AI Tony, I think it's AI Tony, although you could see his eyes behind the armor, figure out that something is wrong and that it was all a trap. It's too late, as Dr. Faustus is taking over the minds of S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier after S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. 6. Tony wants the remaining heroes to go to Washington, D.C. 7. As a side note, female Quasar dies during the whole ordeal, which is weird because I didn't even know there was a female Quasar. We hardly knew ye. Alright, here's the deal. Secret Invasion number 0 is, on a technical level, amazing. It's actually really good. Nick Spencer is clearly an intelligent man, and he most certainly is organized. I can think of few people at Marvel right now who would have pulled off something this huge for this long of a time. It's been well over a year now, if I'm not mistaken. But that's just the thing. Just because a man could do something, it doesn't always mean that he should. Think about how long Steve Rogers, an American icon, has been Hydra Cap. Think about how convoluted and marred his legacy becomes with a story like this. Think about Marvel Comics in recent years. Civil War, Civil War II, hero versus hero event after hero versus hero event. Peter Parker dies, for all intents and purposes, and is replaced with a megalomaniac in Dr. Octopus as the superior Spider-Man, the superior Iron Man, Doom as the inferior Iron Man, Tony Stark dead, for all intents and purposes, and replaced with AI Tony, who thinks that humans are to blame for all the world's problems. Hydra Cap. Peter Parker returns from the dead and invades a sovereign nation in The Amazing Spider-Man. The message in the books is moral relativism reigns supreme. Your heroes aren't really heroes because at the flip of a switch, all of them can be like something out of Mark Millar's Nemesis, i.e. Batman if Batman were evil. And that's fine for a book like Nemesis. There is a place for tales like that. But in many ways, the black cloud hanging over New York City in Secret Empire number 0 is perfectly emblematic of the black cloud, or should I say gray cloud, that hangs over Marvel's writers and editors in that very same city. It's almost like they subconsciously know that Marvel has become a giant black hole of postmodernism, and it's manifesting itself into the pages of Secret Empire. But I digress. There is a distinct difference between creatively dragging a hero through the mud so that when he comes out of it, he's a better man, and dragging a hero through the mud just to see how much he could be battered and bruised and bloodied before people no longer see him as an ideal to emulate. Marvel's modern writers generally tend to treat the characters as their own personal playthings instead of cultural icons that are bigger than any one writer. It's sad and pathetic that an entire generation of kids grew up reading evil versions of their favorite heroes for a protracted period of time, instead of in a what-if tale or something that took place in an alternate universe. Like I said earlier, I can see where many people would like this book. It is well written, but that is a separate issue from whether the story should have ever been explored in the first place. He was the greatest among us, the book starts out. The one we looked to lead us and to guide us. We were wrong. We lost our way, mired in corruption and a thirst of power, divided by infighting. We'd forgotten our calling. And in that moment, at our weakest, instead of challenging ourselves, instead of making things right, we simply gave him more power and more authority. It was easier to let him do that which we were too weak to do ourselves. And this is the price we paid. Sounds good, right? That's because it is pretty cool. But the story behind the words did not need to involve turning Captain America, Steve Rogers, into a Hydra agent for a period of time, something along the lines of 18 months by the time it's all over. Well over 2 years if we consider the aftermath. I appreciated the writer's skill while reading this issue, but the whole time I cringed that anyone would think doing this kind of thing to Captain America was a good idea. That's about it for now, but as always, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Sound off on Secret Empire number 0, Hydra Cap, Marvel's moral relativists, postmodern comics, Nick Spencer, and anything else related to superheroes gone bad. And if you've liked what you've seen here, then head on over to douglasstearns.blog for more coverage just like this. See you next time.